Time to build big biceps with bar chin-ups. Right now, I'll be showing you the best variations and form secrets. First, let's cover grip width. Historically, I've taught the prisoner way, which is having the hands be close together, forearms in, elbows tucked, and squeezing the biceps very hard at the top. This is great since you can pull through a full range of motion and you can clearly see what's going on with the elbows. And it's the one that feels closest to a barbell curl. It's very intuitive in the sense that when you grab a standard bar at the gym, the elbows are going to be in, allowing in front of the body, and you're squeezing here, which is similar to the top part of that chin up, except there's actually tension at the top. Now, prisoner reps are not standardized, and there's levels to this. Fist to fist is the most extreme. And here the leverages actually are god awful. So in this case, the only way you can get low is by flaring the arms out at the bottom. But as you pull up, now you can kind of do this motion here. Alternatively, you can go in between the neutral bar. There's no correct answer. You'll have to experiment with a couple inches. The key is that you're inside shoulder width. That's it. And then you're doing this mini chicken flapping effect, almost squeezing the pecs together. So don't just have the elbows out, or else you're not biasing the biceps. There's no alignment. Instead, you're flared out, elbows in, and that's what you're pulling with. And notice how there's a natural incentive to be further back like this, almost like you're doing the headbanger chin, right? So try to refrain from being fully back like this, Joranda style. So you see I'm in a little bit of a posterior pelvic tilt, almost like I want to work my lower abs. So the feet are slightly in front. Then I rotate the elbows in, and I squeeze the biceps. Keep it in, keep it in, keep it in. At the bottom right here, you can unload by flaring a bit, which will do a lot for you, but I'll be honest, it's not the best way to build bigger biceps from chin-ups. For that, we want to take a page from the street lifting world. So I don't mean to confuse you, but the best way to build big biceps is actually doing the opposite, performing a wide grip chin. Here you don't have to worry about what's going on with the elbows, you're already in the proper alignment, and there's actually some lateral forces going on. This is a resultant, which creates a little bit of a moment arm at the elbow, which is almost like you're opening up. And so if we know that going wider on a pull-up, of all things, can recruit more biceps, then imagine when you do it with an underhand grip, which by design, being supinated, is more bis. Especially with this exact grip, we're in ultra supination, as if you're doing an alternate dumbbell curl. Why? Because it's not fully straight. It's like doing an easy bar curl, but in reverse. My hands are slightly out, so it's forcing my wrist to do this. So now, look at the bicep. So for reference, your arms are out here during the chin up, and the cue is that you're supinating all the way. Externally rotated. You bring the wrist in. You can even argue it's more long head. The arms are stretched overhead. You're in external rotation, fully supinating. Look at the bicep activation. Now here I'm in front of the bar, so I don't have to pull back, but check it out. I swear to God, it feels like I'm doing a curl. So the bicep crosses the shoulder joint, so it assists in shoulder flexion. And when the arms are overhead, the degree to which you manipulate grip width can affect that stretching aspect. And what I found is that a wider grip maximizes the overhead position for the biceps, not to mention the supination, and it's just something that you have to feel. In fact, I don't even need to give you scientific explanations or talk about human anatomy, all that. How about I just let you know this crazy fact? Some street lifters actually tear their biceps using this exact grip. Now for that you might be afraid, but know that they are doing chin-ups with over 5 plates for reps. So the absolute load, which you and I probably aren't going to hit, in addition to the natty factor, explains some of these injuries. That said, there is still somewhat of a risk, but I would say it's no different than preacher curls or incline curls. And I don't see you stopping those, right? Also, you're not doing high sets, low reps with high percentages on chins. You're doing this for hypertrophy, right? So you might just do 3 sets of 8 to 12 and call it a day, as opposed to 10 sets of 3 with 3 to 5 minutes of rest in between sets, only doing chins as your competition movement. In other words, you're not training high specificity. And this is not an accessory to improve your 1 rep max chin, which you're also probably not doing, right? Therefore, you tearing your biceps with this wide grip is unlikely. Let's address another question. Why are street lifters even using this grip if it's more dangerous? It enhances your top bench strength like nothing else. Because your leverages are worse, as in lifting a plate less, and it's hard to pull through when your arms are wider, and the fact that chins are gravity operated, so naturally the resistance profile is limited by the top, then of course it's a worthy accessory, especially since a lot of street lifters aren't doing a bunch of curls or ring work. So if you're looking for specificity in a way that demolishes the biceps and enhances an actual weak link, then you need to train those positions for strength training. So there's many ways to build this particular strength. You can do isometrics, chin over the bar, isometrics right at the bar, or even slightly below, because it radiates 15 degrees in all directions. There's that, as well as using accommodating resistance and modifying your grip width. And for the top bench strength, going wide is the best. And that's why the street lifters do it. Now, you may not care about having the strongest vertical pull, but so what? The point is you're building bigger biceps in the process. That is simply a side effect. So take this 2-in-1 banger. But if you really don't care, then another variation of this wide grip chin is to simply bring your chin to the bar, because that top is the hardest part, but you're still getting a lot of biceps activation by going right under. So it's my little twist. Combining street lifting form with staying in the pocket prisoner reps for variation that really is mostly biceps. So if you guys can come up with a name, that would be awesome. Now, no matter what you do, chin-ups are still a back exercise. It's like me telling you to shut off your pecs on a bench press. It's not going to happen. At the end of the day, if you can lift well over 100 pounds, even with the worst grip, then obviously it's your back that's doing the majority of the work. So all we're doing is biasing the biceps. So with that in mind, stop worrying about your back so much. Just pull with the arms. Basically what you were told not to do for all these years on other compound movements when talking about building the back, do that for your biceps. Logically, it makes sense. You don't have to assume a full dead hang or squeeze the back hard at the top, maintaining that tightness, stretching, driving the elbows in towards the hips. Forget about all that. So the only thing I want you to do is supinate the fuck out of your elbows. Pull with the arms. Try to do a curl. Forget about your back. It can be loose as a spaghetti. Next tip is a genius hack that you're gonna wish you knew sooner. For this, you will require a barbell and a pad. Why? Because you, my friend, will be doing preacher chin-ups. What's the benefit of this? Maximum motor unit recruitment of the biceps. And we finally have a fully stable vertical pull. How insane. Instead of doing lat pull downs where you're getting stability through the leg pads, this time you're getting it directly on the target area. So I'm using 2 barbells, and here the pinky is on the innermost part of the smooths. Elbows are in. I'm slightly away like a preacher curl, but then I bring my body in at the top. And here there actually is tension, unlike the preacher. So lean back a bit. Feel it in your biceps. Curl. That's actually crazy. Like here, I'm really just, holy shit. So you want to treat it like a preacher curl where you're lowering in front of the body. So drive those elbows into the pad. See how I'm leaning back a bit? I'm not super close like this. So slight lean back and curl. Actually, now that I think about it, this is a more stable version of head bagger chin-ups. Alternatively, you can also do these with a safety squat bar, which has even thicker padding and can allow for a slightly wider grip if you so choose to. So the padding is thicker, you have more surface area for the forearm. Could also be good for guys who have longer forearms. But the form cues are the same. And of course, I can do the same thing with my actual pull-up bar. It doesn't have to be a barbell. You don't need 2 bars. See this shit? I'm not even flexing. No, I was. Look at that fucking bicep. This is the last tip, guys. If you want to get big with just calisthenics, then start doing occluded chins. You'll never have to weigh these down unless you're super light. So I'm only wearing it on one arm, so you can see the comparison. Look at that. So high rep it. Pull with the arms. Forget about the back. Just drive that tension. Only thing I'll tell you is leave a slight bend here. Don't fully dead hang. Leave some tension in the bicep. Pump. 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 Oh my God. Must have done over 100 chin-ups in this video. So get those high reps in. Your first set might be 20, then you'll rapidly decline. 15, 12, you might even struggle to get 10 after a certain point. So 3 to 5 sets in the 8 to 20 zone. And yes, the range is that broad. Low rest between sets. Your biceps are gonna be firing like nothing else. So that's how you build big biceps with bar chin-ups. I hope you try out these special variations and stay tuned for part 2 because I got some more tips to share. Also, I wanna know, can you guys guess what those tips are? OGs will know because in today's video, I left out some obvious stuff. So let me know and enjoy getting buff with calisthenics.